There are so many parts to this video. This version with King Arthur the First and King Arthur the Second is discussed in a video that I've put on Sun and Moon. But this video sort of covers a bit of that, except this one obviously here is much more in depth. And bits of the video they're talking about here, which is, as I said, on Sun and Moon. Oh, I've missed it now. Where are you? There it is. So obviously that is an artifact, and this is saying this is King Arthur's, and it's in silver. So this would be made for somebody who is very privileged, and so this one is talking about the two King Arthurs, which this video talks a bit about, but I thought I'd put it in because these people are saying that our history has been rewritten. It is a Richard D. Hall's video. On my other video I said, you know, he laughed at me when I said I was a F-L-A-T-T-I-E. He also deals in conspiracy. I would have thought that people would have laughed at him, that he wouldn't do that to me, and we were in quite a lot of emails at that time because in Hungerford there was a massacre years ago in the 80s, Michael Ryan, but it was very similar to a case he was looking at, so he was asking me lots of questions. I actually went to one of his shows, but then he's got this whole thing about space and so forth, but a lot of the stuff that he finds out about animals that have been murdered, history, he sees so many of the lies, makes very good videos on, you know, what they've been doing to us with, you know, our minds and everything, and how they do it. All that's brilliant. But anyway, I really hope he doesn't mind, as I said before, but I'm going to add this, obviously, to Unscrambled. I think that, obviously, our history is a lie, and bits have been amalgamated, similar to what they're kind of talking about. There was two King Arthurs. That's in Sun and Moon channel, but this one's going to be played now, so I hope Richard doesn't mind, and yeah, I'm not going to laugh at you.
Alan Wilson and Baron Blackett have been researching ancient British history since 1976 and have so far published 9 books. They seek out the oldest sources and go where the evidence takes them. Ancient manuscripts, stone carvings, paintings, church records, maps, place names, ancient poems and archaeological finds are their bread and butter. Their conclusions and discoveries from over 30 years of detailed research have not been well received in some quarters. Their discoveries include the burial sites of King Arthur I and King Arthur II, a dynasty of 80 British kings, not to mention the alleged resting place of the Ark of the Covenant and the Holy Cross. In this series of programmes, I will be presenting Wilson and Blackett's evidence for these potentially earth-changing discoveries. This evidence is in later programmes. I will also be describing the struggle they have endured over the last 30 years, including multiple murder attempts and media smear campaigns. I will be exposing the deep-rooted corruption in academia and publicly funded bodies, which Wilson and Blackett have meticulously documented over the years. It's not easy to pinpoint exactly who is behind the attempts to discredit them. Suggestions range from corporate and political interests, British intelligence, the Catholic Church, and possibly Freemasonic interests. As I will show in the upcoming series of programmes, there is no doubt that there is a conspiracy to derail these forensic historians' efforts to uncover the truth. What's the reason why this research is so dangerous and being obfuscated by certain parties?
Religion comes into it, obviously. Unfortunately, we try to dodge it for years, but you can't.
Right.
Christianity arrived in Britain in 35 AD. The crucifixion apparently took place in 33 AD. This is well attested. Nennius records it. He died. He's a great historian in 822. Gildas says it. He died in the 6th century. The Cardinal Baronius was the great Catholic Church historian of the early 16th century, and Cardinal Alford, the real name is Griffiths. They both said it, and it's accepted by the Catholic Church. But they don't say it very often. They don't say it very loudly. But Christianity began in Britain. Holy Family arrived in Western Britain. These are the subject of Poussin paintings that are such a mystery.
Basically, my collaboration began in 1976 when I was very young. Alan's been with our family since I was in infancy, and it's only from 76 the research developed and mushroomed.
King Craddock and his family went to Rome in 51 AD. His sister Claudia married Aulus, the hugely important Roman, and she was put on trial for being a heretic because she's a Christian. She wouldn't believe in Jupiter and so on. Rufus, who was the son of this guy, he marries Urgine, the daughter of King Craddock. And again, you've got problems with heresies and that. And the house of Rufus became the first Christian church in Rome. He appears in the Bible. They had 4 daughters, all of whom were martyred later. And you have a fairly solid foundation for Christianity, starting in Britain, being taken to Rome.
Having said that, I've become almost, in more recent years, the role of a minder as much as a collaborator.
Well, obviously, your research has proved that there were 2 King Arthurs and that there were a dynasty of 80 Welsh kings.
Yes.
Now
British kings.
Sorry, British kings. Yeah.
There weren't any Wales.
Now that also is upsetting possibly to the monarchy, that research.
Yes, it could be.
Just explain why.
Well, Iestyn ap Gwragedd dies, was deposed in 1091. He allegedly had 14 sons and several daughters. The Welsh gentry, then sons of the lesser ones, all, as in England, kept their pedigrees and their genealogies. And I don't think the British public is generally aware of the huge mass of manuscript evidence that's available in this way. So there are many people around today who can, and some of them do, claim their descent from Iestyn. Actually, the last king was a descendant of his. Morgan was killed in 1300 AD.
Which goes back to Arthur II.
And they all go back to Arthur II, who dies in 579.
Right.
Arthur II is son of King Moerig or Maurice. He is a 6th generation direct descendant of Arthur I, who is Arthur who invaded Europe. His father is a son of Magnus Maximus by Magnus's first wife, Cynric, not his second wife. And he is the only son of Crispus Nobilis Flavius Caesar. Well, Crispus is the eldest son of Constantine the Great. He's the son of Helen, big British princess, and the Emperor Constantine Chlorus. Helen is direct descendant of the Holy Family.
Right.
So it starts to wobble about all over the place. Now, obviously, the Queen of England having 2 parents, 4 grandparents, and then 8, 16, has got about a putative 500,000 descendants, ancestors, sorry. So it's quite possible she could trace back into these lines anyway. But obviously, she's not, in the sense of Britishness, she's not the senior person.
So it undermines
it could
who is the actual true monarch.
In the sense of descent from Brutus and the British kings, yes.
Right. That's another reason why it's possibly wanting to be covered up. So you've got the religious angle, you've got the monarchist angle. Political influences and sheer greed are other possible reasons why this research is not popular, which Alan explains later. These new discoveries mean that academia should re-examine some of its accepted theories, but the system of academia is often not flexible.
They are people who have been trained in a system of rote. You follow my leader, and everybody keeps it. It's like an army. An army has a general, some commanding officers, colonels, and all the rest match in step. Well, academia is like that. There's always one or two leading great figures, the big guys, the Professor List of Oxford or somewhere, and lesser professors, and the rest are a herd. I don't mean that rudely to them, but the behaviour is such that they all have to keep in step.
Yeah.
And the junior person who becomes a member of academic staff, he's a junior lecturer, he's not going to quarrel with the professor, he's going to keep in line.
Yeah.
Because he wants to A, keep his job, and B, get promotion.
Now,
So lecturer, senior lecturer, assistant professor, head of the chair, it's a promotion line. The only way you get there is by keeping in step.
Now, you've published 9 books, Alan, on this work, many of them about King Arthur.
Yeah.
One of them is about your assertion that of where the Ark of the Covenant, probably the most important archaeological artifact in history, you believe is in a particular hillside in Wales called Ynys y Bwll. You've published that in a book called Discovery of the Ark, and now you've suspected that that was there since when, the sort of mid-80s?
I got a photograph from my colleague there in '82.
Right. Now, but you've not actually published this in a book until what year? The sort of
A couple of years ago,
2005. Right.
So
I'm at a village called Ynys y Bwll in South Wales, and behind me is a hill on top of which is a man-made mound. The hill is, I'm not sure if this is the correct pronunciation, Twin y Glog, and according to Alan Wilson, the Ark of the Covenant is buried inside the man-made part of this hill behind me. So this is another reason potentially why your work is perhaps, or there's been smear campaigns against you, because they want you and Barham out of the picture, possibly because they don't want you to be the ones that are going to find this extremely important artifact.
That I'm only a small part of this conspiracy.
Right. All the evidence and interviews I have gathered in making this programme will be handed to the police on the day this show is aired. What might the motives be for what seems to be a deliberate attack?
Corporate interest has been linked. Corporate interests, particularly more recently, we've had Alan Hassel up there with his Polestar machine. He's ill now. He's about
This
70
is
years
the
old.
alleged discovery of the Ark of the Covenant.
And other very valuable sites. His Polestar machine is the only one in the UK who has a Polestar machine. He's an expert at that. He's in London. He's one of our London contacts.
I've spoken to him.
He is of the opinion, and many others, it's corporate interests. If me and Alan are rubbed out, get me first, and then Alan's a piece of cake. I've been told that.
Because
The
you are
point
effectively
is,
protecting
they
Alan.
could then go and excavate, dig up these vast sites of non-ferrous metals.
Okay. So that could be one huge motivation.
Huge motivation. You think
to get rid of
it's
you and Alan.
These could be almost parallel with the South African gold mine in a different intrinsic way.
Doubt.
Intrinsic way. Now, if me and Alan are around, God knows what we'll see.
Yeah.
We want to get us pushed under the carpet so they could perceive.
I mean, for a start, you would become 50% owners of the find.
We become by law,
and you would be, you would be hailed as probably two of the greatest historical researchers, that there are, if that thing is there and if it is dug up. So, yeah, I can see a motive perhaps to get you out of the picture so that someone else can then come and dig it up. This is just one of dozens of criminal acts against Alan Wilson and Barham Blackett, which I will outline in next week's show. I asked Alan about possible political interests, which may have had an effect in the past.
Julian Hodge set up a Bank of Wales. He's a man who started off as an accountant with the British Railways, and he had certainly a murky, seemingly murky start in life. He was well into the business of people buying cars on hire purchase, and before you knew it, he had large garages and hire purchase, and he became a rich and wealthy man, and he set up the Bank of Wales. He recruited as directors James Callaghan, from MP for Cardiff South, who successively was Home Secretary, Foreign Secretary, Chancellor and Prime Minister. He also recruited MP for Cardiff West, George Thomas, Secretary of State for Wales and Speaker of the House of Commons. They were his directors with him on the Bank of Wales. As I say, a strange reputation. They moved the Bank of Wales to Jersey, and the story is that South Africa, whereas Britain was worried about currency going out of Britain, they weren't worried about it coming in. And South African companies were pumping money into the bank in Jersey, and they was bringing it in then to Britain. Virgin Territory, they found new companies in the Virgin Territory. And one of the things that Callaghan and Hodge and Thomas did was to buy up open cast coal mining companies and set them up. Now here you've got the miners fighting for their existence under Thatcher. She's going to close them all down. 54 pits in, deep pits in Wales, one of whom was in North Wales, right? The most of them were profitable, right? And they're supposed to be supporting the miners, and at the same time they're setting up Crouchmore mining, Ryan open cast coal mining, another open cast coal mining. They're all it is. That's all set to do open cast instead of deep. But a plan did come into the Western Mail one day, it got printed by mistake I would think, of an open cast coal pit 25 miles long successively and a mile wide and 300 metres deep. Because that's the only way to get the 7,000 million tonne of coal out of the Randall Drift. You can't do it that way.
So you think some of these big companies, open cast coal companies...
Well, Callaghan and Thomas were into them.
Right.
Now, they then recruited Nicholas Edwards, who in the Thatcher government was Secretary of State for Wales, as a director.
Right.
And Nicholas Edwards decided it would be a good idea if they put £500 million to revitalise the valleys, spearheaded by Orion International Open Cast Coal, of which he was a director.
Right.
Now, Nicholas Edwards is Secretary of State of Wales, an MP, and he's a director of this company. And as Secretary of State, he's going to give a company that he's an executive director of £500 million quid.
Right.
So we wrote to Thatcher. I did. I said, look at
So
this
you wrote to Margaret Thatcher?
I did. So I got a reply from a flunky. So I wrote back and I said, Mr. Thatcher, I didn't write to you, flunky. I wrote to you. What are you going to do about it? I got a reply from a different flunky. So I wrote a third time. I said, look, I'm writing you for the third time about this guy Edwards, you know. What are you going to do about it? And Nicholas Edwards resigned. Bang.
So he resigned then?
Aye. Now, the other thing is, Callaghan and Thomas and Hodge bought land at Lantricid. Useless land, not much. No good. When they then, Labour Party, wanted to move the Royal Mint out of London, because it couldn't expand because of the confined area in London it had, the only place to put it in Britain was right on the land owned by Callaghan, Thomas and Hodge.
Okay.
Now, late one Thursday night, about 20-odd Labour MPs kept a meaningless debate going and going and going about 2 in the morning. And in walked Thomas and Callaghan, and they apologised to the House of Commons. By apologising to the House of Commons, and the apology was accepted, it means that matter can never ever be discussed again.
So what were they apologising for, Alan?
Well, they're crooks. They own the land at Lantricid, and they made a fortune by putting the Royal Mint on it.
Right. Okay.
So they're going to be looking through bars, all right. They're not going to be drinking at the bar. They're going to be looking through them.
So what you're saying is that there's corruption involved
all over the place
in politics. How's that affected your work then? Are you saying that some of these big businesses would not want archaeological digs in
on
Wales
sites that are valuable for
that have
other
got
purposes?
coal underneath them?
That's right. That's part of it.
Right. So
There's all sorts. You wouldn't be putting the windmill farm up on that damn mountain if they know what we got there.
So there's a possible another motive of the powers that be, shall we say, to not want you.
That's right.
Just making discoveries or
That's right.
archaeological digs, because there's
That's
coal
right.
under there, but they're not digging it out now.
It's a future resource, but you'll never get it up if King Arthur and all the other things that's on it are on it.
Right.
You'll never touch it.
So
they don't know where we're going to find something next, do they?
Yeah. So if say the Ark of the Covenant was dug up at Unscrambled, then there's no way people are going to start digging coal from there. That's what you're saying. It's going to be
Arthur
turned into a new Mecca.
and St Peter's and High Corannoch and the grave of King Moedig is all up on the mountain above Brunei. You're not going to get that on the drift. You ain't going to dig that up.
Right. Okay. So there's another.
Now, you wouldn't
motive.
dig up coal in Stonehenge, would you? You destroy Stonehenge? I don't think so.
Yeah.
You see what I'm getting at?
Yeah. Yeah.
And these are, we've had to find out what reasons there might be in this. But there's other little things, also little things in the straws in the wind.
Well, one of the things that you want done is to have the site excavated on Unnasa Bull to see if the Ark of the Covenant is there. One of the most important
something's there.
artifacts.
Because the metal detector is not human being. It can't lie. It goes bzz, 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 bzz. And if it hits non-ferrous metal, it goes ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
If it hits ferrous metal, it goes dong, dong, dong.
Yeah.
Well, the bottom line is we're asking them to dig a hole, basically. Cut all the flim-flam out, subterfuge and these slimy cloak and dagger conspiracies and this conniving. If we are incorrect, there's only one, we'll have egg on our faces. But they have been avoiding digging that place up at all costs.
The evidence as to why the Ark of the Covenant is claimed to be in this location will be presented in a future show. I spoke to the metal detection expert who has already surveyed the site. And I've spoken to Alan Hassel, and I've got a full statement of Alan. So I independently, he's a trustworthy guy.
Pete Sunderland was there, and we went to see the farmers, and we said, please come 300 yards up to the. Get on your car. We can drive a Land Rover. Oh, we'll come up some other time. As if we're going to go 300 miles down there, 350 miles.
Okay, Alan. Let's just say the site is excavated on Unnasa Bull and the Ark of the Covenant is proven to be there.
Yeah.
Then basically you will be vindicated 100%, and your work, your other work, people will then have to take everything. That would be the catalyst which will get your work.
The most obvious thing.
Accepted. I've just finished negotiating with the two farmers, two brothers, who own the land behind me here at Unnasa Bull, and on their land there is a man-made mound in which Alan Wilson believes the Ark of the Covenant is buried. Now, it was quite a delicate negotiation. I asked if I could go on the land to take some photographs, and straight away they said no. So then they wanted to know why, so I explained the fact that I'd followed some of Alan Wilson's work, and they were very well aware of Alan's work, and they explained to me what happened when he came here, and that he brought some ground penetrating radar here and he did some tests, etc. Now they said that they weren't convinced that he'd actually found anything, and they said that he hadn't actually shown them any concrete results that there was anything there, so therefore they weren't prepared to have their land dug up based on what they thought was nothing. But they then did say that having said that, they didn't go up there and see what he was doing. They didn't show much interest. So I've persuaded them to at least have an independent person come on the land and do another test, and if they do find something there and they can demonstrate it to them, that they would possibly then consider having the land excavated to see if there is indeed anything there. And in the very, if that's what it is, if it is a conspiracy and there was this incendiary device, they very nearly succeeded in the summer of 2011, Barham. So, it's really,
it's absolutely heinous, heinous criminal deed. I will mention that. We looked at McNeil was very well given hospitality, free accommodation for 3 years. Whether he thought it was an incendiary device or a listening device or a banana skin, he had no business going into my bedroom and planting it under the bed.
Yeah, yes.
He was intruding. It was treachery.
Yeah.
At best, he's an imbecile who's treacherous. That's the best scenario, I think,
Okay.
That's the best. Now, the imbecility factor, human imbecility factor, is what these MI5 rely on most weaknesses. I don't claim
to dupe people into doing X, Y, and Z. So they give them a false motive.
Yeah, a false motive and a combination of other things, including monies.
Yeah.
By the way, and get looked after. They get the pull strings to get them accommodation and all sorts of skullduggery goes on. The point is, I can't be bluffed by them. I can't be fooled by them. I can't be manipulated by them.
So it doesn't matter about the Ark. You get the cross first if you want.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
Or get King Arthur if you want. And we found the treasure site.
Yeah.
Anglo-Saxon Chronicle. And they, the British, gathered together all the treasures of Britain and buried them in one place, and no man has seen them since. Oh, yeah?
But I'm very loyal, which is becoming an unfashionable quality in this generation, loyalty and old school values.
I've been down to the site where you and Alan, well, Alan says he knows the Ark of the Covenant is buried at Unscrambled. The other thing that I discussed with them, I asked them if they knew about the significance of the Ark of the Covenant, and I don't think they understood the full significance of it, but I did discuss with them the fact that this could bring hundreds, well, tens of thousands of jobs to South Wales. It would become almost like a new Mecca. It's not just a treasure, coins or something like that. It's something of global significance. And when I said that to him, he obviously has been told that by Alan, but I don't think he fully believed it. I don't think they've really fully understood the magnitude of what could be in this hill, if Alan Wilson is correct. So at least I've persuaded them to have a second opinion of someone who can do some metal detection, and so I'm now going to try and seek that out and get back to them and see if we can come back here and do some tests on this hill. All right, Alan. Well, thanks very much for your time, and
You're welcome.
hopefully this interview is going to do some good. And let's just hope we can get some excavation done on any one of these sites.
My wish, I'm old guy, 79. We do wish, we've seen these valleys, we've seen the state they're in. There's 30,000 jobs here for the people who are destitute. And that is really one hell of a thing that needs to be done.
All right, thanks, Alan.